All right, it's time for another edition of Sundays with Serby. And this week, New York Post sports columnist Steve Serby caught up with the newest member of the Mets lineup. That will be designated hitter J.D. Martinez. And now we're going to catch up with Steve. Steve, what's going on?
Dex, always a pleasure. Look forward to this every week.
I look forward to seeing you too and the unpredictable nature of the segment that is Sundays with Serby. Steve, J.D. Martinez, he's overcome some challenges in his career, and at times he's had a chip on his shoulder. How have the challenges that he's faced in his baseball career impacted the player that he is today?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. He's overcome an awful lot. Meningitis when he was a 2 or 3 year old boy, tuberculosis, asthma. Playing Little League, he had asthma attacks. Now, I was so bad in Little League that people thought I was having asthma attacks, but thankfully I wasn't. But he tore his Lisfranc in 2017, thought his career was over. It was a very depressing and scary time for him, but he overcame that. He overcame being cut by the Astros in spring training 2014 when he changed his swing and developed into the dominating home run RBI guy, 6-time All-Star that he eventually became. Good for him. He changed his swing. Then that chip on his shoulder was reignited when the Northeast media, as he refers to it, savaged him during his later Red Sox years after he won the World Series and said he was washed up, he was too old, this, that, and the other. And he proved him wrong. And that's why the Mets shelled out $12 million over 1 year for J.D. Martinez.
He said the Northeast media, which would actually include you and I. I'm just a little curious. Why did he not say why did he just say the Boston media? Why didn't he just do that?
He could have, but he wanted to include you and me, I guess. Hold on a second. I'm trying to, you always complain. You always complain about my wardrobe. So hold on a minute.
Oh, no. We have to, no. We got to let the people know. I am a fan of the Steve Serby wardrobe. I am the person that is always encouraging Steve to make sure that he's got his staple, iconic look, which is a hoodie or a flannel shirt over it generally. Yep. This is usually what he does. I don't know what Steve is trying to put on here. I have no idea.
I'm trying to put on my old sport jacket to try to appease you.
Now, see, this is what the people do not know. Last week, Steve and I were having a conversation, and I was mentioning to him I could not remember the last time he had a sport jacket. I will have to say, here, I understand why you don't wear a sport jacket, because you were struggling to put one on. However, the sport jacket with the hoodie, some people generally say that's my look. That's generally what I do.
Well, I try to model my game after you as much as I can. I think this will be my new look. What do you think? I
think it looks good, man. I like the color combination. It looks really sharp. I like it. It goes with the white hair. It gets a 10 out of 10 for me. I like it. Now, if we can get you a flannel blazer, then we're great. That's perfect. We got to work on that.
I don't feel comfortable in this. I'm taking it off. I'm sorry.
You know what? I had a feeling it wasn't going to last long. You're out here trying to get Zach Braziller in a white suit. We only got you in a blazer for 30 seconds.
Yeah, no, it's just not me. I can't do it unless I get a white suit at Men's Warehouse, which I'm not ruling out. I could rock a white suit, believe me.
Oh, I believe it. It will go perfect with the white hair. Men's Warehouse, if you want to be a sponsor of this segment, you can do that for sure. But we're going to move on. What does J.D. Martinez think of playing for the Mets, and how does he believe that he can help this Mets team in 2024?
Well, don't forget, he signed so late with the Mets that he really is towards the end of his spring training now. So he's had 40-something at-bats. The best of J.D. Martinez is yet to come, without a doubt. I was at Citi Field Friday evening during the rain delay, right before the rain delay, and he was in the cage for at least an hour, not knowing that I was standing out there waiting for him. Or maybe he did know, and maybe he just decided to find refuge in the batting cage. But here's a guy who chases the perfect swing. He studies endless video, and look, it's paid off for the guy. He's 6 times All-Star, 5-time 100-plus RBI seasons, 315 home runs entering the season, and he prides himself on being prepared for every at-bat. He's the ultimate professional, and the idea was for him to bat behind Pete Alonso and help Alonso, and now Alonso is finally starting to get into gear in his contract year. But, it's funny, I asked Martinez what are some of his favorite New York City things, and he said, no, he doesn't have any. He said, I'm just here to hit baseballs. So I think we're going to start seeing him hit baseballs as opposed to catch your forearms, as he did earlier in the week with Wilson Contreras. Contreras, of course, too far up in the box, and J.D. felt awful about it, apologized to him. No need to apologize, but he did anyway. And Contreras texted him back and said, yeah, I'll have you sign my cast at some point. So no hard feelings, but this guy, look, he's going to start hitting. Again, his spring training is coming to a close, and New York has themselves a professional hitter, and maybe one and done. He doesn't know how long he wants to continue playing. Depends on the salary. He got one year, $12 million this year. If somebody wants to pay a 37-year-old DH that kind of money, he'll come back next year. But if not, he says, I've made enough money to last a lifetime. And he'll call it quits if he has to. But I think he loves the game enough, and loves hitting enough, that he'll want to stick around.
Yeah, and we'll see if he can produce for the Mets this season. You think he'll start hitting some baseball soon? Yep. And
of course, I forgot to mention his nickname, Just Dingers, for J.D.
All right.
And I said, because of everything he's overcome, I said to him, well, maybe just determined, just driven, just defiant. Maybe all those apply too. And he said, yeah, I like those.
Okay. I like those. You know what we liked? We liked you wearing that blazer. You could have kept it on for question number 2.
No, it's not me. It's not me. And it took me half an hour to put the thing on. So forget about it.
You know what? But what we should let the people know, you and I were talking about this last week, and you got to wear what works for you, right? You got to wear what works for you. We know the Steve Serby style. That is not the Steve Serby style. But, the hoodie, that's the Steve Serby style. Or the flannel T-shirt. Yeah. That is it.
And by the way, he has adapted very well to the role of DH for the last few years. Mm-hmm. He would love just to play. He would love to play some outfield, but the Mets need him as their DH the same way that SNY needs their DH in the studio as much as possible. Dexter Henry.
I like what you did there. That makes up for not putting on the blazer. That makes up. But the thing you got to do is check out Steve Serby's Q&A with J.D. Martinez. It is another good one. This is why we love doing this segment. Sundays with Serby. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what Steve is going to do. He might put on a blazer. He might bring out a crazy guest that you didn't expect to be there. All these things
goes in the closet.
Goes in the closet to never be seen again. Steve, we won't put you in the closet. You'll be back with us next week. Thank you, sir. See you next week, man.
Thank you, DH. Thank you.